There we go. Subtracting integers, section 5.5, as I just told my students before I forgot to turn on the microphone, you can use section 5.5 in your textbook to have a backup for this. So you have Edmodo, you have this website, you have me during activity, and also you have your textbook to help you master this difficult concept. Subtracting integers. The additive inverse. And this is the way we're going to be able to subtract integers and still have it make sense to us. The sum of an integer and its additive inverse is 0. Okay. The additive inverse is an integer and its opposite. And as you're writing, what is an opposite? Can someone remind me? Yeah. Negative, yeah. It's the negative of a positive number. And if you have the opposite of an opposite, you have what you originally had. So it's a double negative. Additive inverse, an integer and its opposite. Subtracting integers. To subtract an integer, add its additive inverse. Add its additive inverse. And make sure you write down those examples as well. And to be perfectly crystal clear, when you do your homework, you should have your notes sitting right next to you when you do these. Okay? When you have your homework, it should be right next to you. Because it would be wasteful for us to take this time in class to take the notes if you're not going to use them. And I don't like to waste time. That's not your hat, right, Rebecca? Okay. For example, we have 6 minus 3, but we want to change it to its additive inverse to be 6 plus negative 3. So we have a subtraction. Oh, is that off again already? Yeah, cheese. But so we're going to additive inverse. So it's just like saying plus negative 3 rather than 6 minus 3. And a minus b, a plus negative b. Now, whenever we have those variables in there, that means it's algebraic. It's an algebraic expression saying for any a minus any b, so any two different numbers, that's what you could do. That's what we could do. Yeah. Examples. We have 5 plus negative 5 equals 0. Or, an algebraic expression, x plus any negative x is 0. And if I were to rewrite that the way that we just had on the previous slide, what I could do is this. It would be 5 minus 5 equals 0. Because these two here are the same thing, just the one on the left is using the additive inverse. So this is going from first grade math into sixth grade math. Do you agree? Right? 5 minus 5, oh boy. Right? And you're saying to yourself, I did not go through 6 years of mathematics to only be doing 5 minus 5. Then your parents come into the room and said, what was that scary voice? It was me being frustrated. And then for any x, we have x minus x. You don't need to write what I'm writing here. I'm just trying to show you. Do you agree that x minus any x is 0?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this, once again, is just going from the first grade math to sixth grade math. Okay? subtracting. We have negative 3 minus negative 2. I want you to try those 3. Let's see how you do. Let's see how you do. Sometimes you can surprise yourself with like, I did that right. Other times you'd be like, well, I got that wrong because I've never seen that before, and that's okay. Some of you are done with that one. So let's look at the first one. Who wants to take a guess as to what this is going to be, Jacob? Negative 1. You are correct. Yes. So if you got negative 1, you are awesome. If you did get negative 1, you're still awesome. You just maybe didn't get lucky or didn't remember that from having that seen in the past. But yes.
I thought it was negative 1, and then I put 4 negative 5.
Okay. All right, yeah. Yes. Okay. So I want to explain this one a little bit. So yes, the correct answer. Woo, forgot about that. It always surprises me whenever I write a whole bunch, and then I click back on the other one. So this one is negative 1, and there's a way that I like to explain how to do this. Okay. It's the most efficient way that I can demonstrate this, other than doing that silly dance. Let's see here. I'm going to do ooh. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. Oh. Come on. Yeah. And show. I have shapes. Yes, students love shapes. All right. I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to use blue. No, I'm using blue. All right. And this, perfect. Well, this, there we go. Now, when we have, let's get that out of here. When we have 2 negatives, okay, so let's say I had a negative 2, where's my cursor, boom. I don't want that there. I want this. Right here. So I have negative 2, and then I have a parenthesis right here, the same way that we had in that example. Okay, do you agree that kind of looks something like it?
Yeah.
Now, when we're doing this, I would like you, so you can go ahead and put down your pencils. I want you to hold your arms like this, okay, like you're making 2 subtraction signs in front of you. Now, I want you to turn one of your arms, don't hurt yourself, like this. Okay? Then I want you to turn like that and make it a plus sign. When you subtract a negative, it's like adding. Okay? We got all sorts of twisted shoulders going on here. All right? So once again, let's do that motion again. We have minus a negative. And it's just like adding those 2. Good?
No, I'm not good.
I don't know. That was really bad. Okay. That was not a good dance move. I'm just bad at dancing sometimes, I guess. Okay? So that's one way for you to remember when you have a subtraction and a negative, or a subtraction and a Subtraction minus, that's what we got. Because here's that situation right here where we have this guy that turns 90 degrees and becomes like plus. -3 plus 2 comes closer to the 0, but not all the way on the number line. And the answer is negative. How about 4 minus 6? Let's go with manager. -2 is correct. And I'm going to draw a number line for you guys who might be struggling with this. So we have 4 minus 6. I should have gone one more. Are we all right? Okay. We have 4. We have 4, and we're going to be going to the left 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ended up at -2, and that was what the answer that we just got. Yes, right there. That's the only time you'll see two negative signs next to each other. Because a subtraction sign really does means negative. Okay? A subtraction sign is a negative, and that's what the additive inverse is explaining to us. But that's, yes, it has to have the parentheses in there. You are correct. If there's two negative symbols or negative looking symbols, subtraction, negative, right next to each other, the parentheses will always be there. Yes, sir? So you're talking this 2 minus -3. So here's our two negatives that are going to become like a positive, right? So because of that little dance move that we just did, it's going to be -2 plus 3. And what would that answer be? 1, right? Because you're going from the -2, you go tuk, 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 up to 1. Yep, good question. All right, finalmente, lastly, we have -5 minus 1. Minus means we're going to the left on the number line. So what are we going to end up at? Yeah, -6. Yes, good job. Good job. You guys are understanding. This is tough stuff. Yeah. So we are at -2. We are adding 1, 2, 3, and we end up at 1. Yep. Yeah, for those of you that might be struggling a little bit or a lot of bit with this, do you see how each question that I've had is like, how did you do that? How did you do that? I drew a number line. And then, oh. Thank you. Okay, using the additive inverse. I'm going to do the, yeah, that's the same one that we just had almost.
But we're adding.
Okay, but we're adding. So this is using the additive inverse. This is going with what we just did. Using the additive inverse. Yeah, using the additive inverse. Now what they're doing is they're doing the opposite. It was subtraction, but we're adding a negative here, and you're going to have the same. You guys can put that just to the right of the 3 other examples because it's the same thing and also conserves paper if you haven't already started it, which is fine. We've got plenty of paper. It's in abundance. Don't be wasteful, but we do need to use it. And that's the exact same thing as we did before in the previous slide. 4 plus -6, -5 plus -1. Okay? And you have to have those parentheses in there because you can't have two symbols like that next to each other. You have to have parentheses. And once again, just as we did on the other page, -3 plus 2 is -1. 4 plus Negative 6 is going to be negative 2. These are the same answers as the other page. And this negative 5 plus negative 1 is negative 6. So if you guys have all this stuff together, because it's going to be adding to itself. It's going to be adding to itself as far as building upon yesterday's information. That's why it's important that if you did not understand today's homework and you didn't feel like coming and asking me about it, come and see me during activity tomorrow. Come and see me during activity tomorrow. Usually there's a huge rush of 7th graders right at the very beginning, but if you go about 10 minutes into first period, that'd be a good time for me to give you my undivided attention. If you need to get a drink, go for it. Whoever's hiccuping, go ahead. All right, guided practice, page 204, 23 through 37. What? Textbook? What? I know, I didn't tell you to. It's fine. I'm going to give you guys a couple examples. Okay. Nope. So, guided practice. Okay, do these Oh, and by the way, whenever we have a variable like that, did you see on the homework that we had last night that I answered it as being like t equals such and such? Make sure you have that solution in there, okay? Make sure you have the variable in there. So as I'm writing these, you can go ahead and get started with them. Go ahead and get started with number 23, and then I'll answer as soon as I'm done writing these down. Yeah, those three should do. Well, do you want me to guide you with it, or you want to try it by yourself first? Okay, go ahead and try it by yourself then. Good. I appreciate your motivation, independence, motivation, manpower and woman power, miniature man and miniature woman power. So go ahead and write those down because I got to recalibrate this again. It's not a game. No, never mind. I'm not gonna do it. You're doing math. That's just computer stuff. It is involved mathematics, but now you're having conversation rather than answering these questions. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Correct. It is negative 42. Thank you for double checking. Oop, I didn't say what that one equals. That one equals W. Yes.
If we use that, do we have to mark
Sorry?
the first number on this?
No, you can, if you want, yeah, you can have the one with the highest absolute value, if it's negative on the far left side, like that. You could. You could. You just have to recognize, are you going to cross over to 0 or not? That sort of thing. You can even have your number line go by 2 if you want to. Okay. So you have 0, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6.
For this, is that a minus sign or is it negative 14?
There's only one symbol between that 18 and that 14, so could it be anything but subtraction?
Negative. It could be the negative 4.
So it's going to be It's going to be minus, but use the additive inverse for that one, okay? Use the additive inverse. Yeah, let me calibrate this, and we'll be able to do that. Relax. My students think that this is a game, and all I'm doing... Okay, I don't think everyone's done. Good. Goodness. There we go. Let's see. Maddie, you want to do 23? Go ahead and go to a new slide. So you're going to push the left button on the Eno strip, which is that magnet. Push the left arrow, second from the top. Oh no. Yes. I want a boy to do the next one. You're not a boy. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That means it's not negative anymore, or is it still negative?
That one is that negative 42 minus negative 23? So think about this, is the absolute value, so now that you've changed it to addition, right? Is the absolute value negative 42 bigger than the absolute value of 23? So it's going to stay negative. Okay? So, you want to help me out, Audrey? Right, and that would be negative 18, and it would continue to go to the left. Now, to use the additive inverse with this one that Maddie just did, to use the additive inverse, this is what it would look like. Okay? That's what the additive inverse would look like. How many of you use the additive inverse? Good? Okay. Sometimes this makes more sense to people. Sometimes this makes more sense to people. All right? But if you didn't do the additive inverse and you got that wrong, give the additive inverse, give the additive inverse a try. Okay. Do I have a, that's correct. Yeah, do I have a boy? Yes, sir. Nikki. I didn't hear it. So you have 13 minus negative 10. Yes? Yeah, you can use a pen. Let's see. Hero. And for this one, I'm going to rewrite the way that we did it in class, which is R is 13, and then we had our, right? Negative 13 plus 10, it's going to get closer to it, but not all the way, and we have negative 3. Negative 3. There's no negative sign? Hold on.
Yeah, there's no negative on the 3.
13. Got it. Got it. So this should, shh, quiet. I know this is really exciting. Integers, yes. But it's, just check it. Yeah. So we have 13, negative because of positive. 13 plus 10 is actually going to be 23. Yes, ma'am. Did you originally ask?
What?
No. You often come up. You often come up. Who rarely comes up that would like to come up? A girl. Or a guy, actually. That would like to come up. No, Brooke doesn't necessarily want to come up, and that's okay. You want to come up? All right, do you have the third one written down? Here you go. Brooke's chilling. She's cool. Negative 42. Shh. Quiet. Negative 42 minus negative 23 equals W. She got that W equals negative 65. And to rewrite this the way that we had it before, we have negative 42. We have a negative, so we have something this shape. Then we have another negative, so it's going to turn 90 degrees like that. 23. So we have negative 42 plus 23. Now, which one has the higher absolute value? Negative 42 or negative 42 does. And so what does that tell us? Is our answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. Good. So we are getting closer to 42, and from what we had yesterday is I'm going to take the smaller number from the bigger number and keep the sign of the one with the highest absolute value. That was the major point of yesterday. Okay? We take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number as far as absolute value goes, and we are going to get well, that's what we're finding out. How are we doing so far?
Good.
See a lot of blank faces.
We're doing good.
We might be doing well. If we are donating money and volunteering time, maybe we're doing good. So now we have 42 minus 23 is what? It's very close to being 20, isn't it? But not so much? 19. And I'm going to have it take the sign of the one with the larger absolute value. Negative 19. You added it. Yep. You added it. You forgot about this guy. Yep. Or you forgot about this guy. One of the two. Yep. That was a tough one. You writing these all down, Tommy? Tough one, difficult, challenging, opposite of easy. Okay. And if this does make sense to you, you are going to have a very good beginning half of 7th grade. Okay, this is challenging stuff. It does the idea of integers and moving through a number line in negative, because you always just think, okay, 5 plus 3. You have 5, you go 3 to the 3 more. But now that we can go left, right, we can cross the number line. We're going from positives to negatives, and then there's all these rules that we're trying to remember. Okay? Clay Paul? This is from yesterday. We'll look at your notes. What does it say about adding with 2 different signs? What is your notes from yesterday from 5.3, was it? 5.4. Adding integers with different signs. Here's back in time yesterday. Subtract values from step 1, which is their absolute values. The result has the same sign as the integer as the greatest absolute value. That's from yesterday. So here's the first part of your expectation to look back at the notes that we are taking to help answer questions if you have them at night. Because this year, it's starting to transition a little bit to the point where it's like, it's not math where it's like, here's the lesson, here's the homework, I get it or I don't. No, it's not like that anymore. And that's what a lot of my 7th graders struggle with, and I don't blame them for it. They're expected to do certain, have a lot of that responsibility, and I'm trying to wean you guys into that. But the bottom line is, if you don't understand something, you should be looking at your notes and say, okay, what did I write down here? It's like, I don't think it's in there, but I think I remember Smith saying something about this. Let's check and see if I can find out in the study guide at the top, like we're going to do 5.5 tonight for homework. Let's see if it's on there. Okay, it's not on there. Let's see if he talked about it anything on YouTube, because you want to sit 45 minutes longer with my nasally voice, right? No. But the bottom line is, it's not I get it or I don't get it. It's I'm going to discover with the tools that I have how to do this, okay? All right? Because this stuff isn't easy, and it's okay if it's challenging for you, and you may not do as well on this tonight with your homework as you did today. All right? But hopefully a lot of you did really well with it yesterday, so we're going to be all good for the first 2 homework assignments of the quarter. Boy, I said that fast. Okay. So now simplification. Let's see how much of this is on the homework tonight, so I don't waste time. 7 minutes. Yep. This is not, that's not in the homework. That part is not in the homework, so I think I'm going to, yeah, we're going to skip that. So we're going to skip that, there's the answers for those, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. All right? So I'm going to pass this out, and we're going to do a couple of examples from the homework at the very end of the video. Yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. No. No, you don't need your books. 3, 4, 5. Some of you get purple today. Some of you don't. Sorry. Because the purple ran out of the printer yesterday. I never put it in there, but whatever. You're going to need those notes. You're putting those away. Well, no, we're not really having time to work on it today. Never mind.
Do you put your own here?
Yeah. All right, we are going to do a couple of these right away because we have about 5 minutes or so before class is over. But I do want to do a couple of these. These are going to be examples from 5.5 Study Guide homework. Ugh. 5.5 examples for Study Guide homework. Yes, sir. You don't have paper? Yeah, it'd be difficult to turn it in if you don't get it, huh? Because it's one thing if you don't get it, but it's another thing if you don't get it and you don't get it.
Whoa. I got it.
Ah! All right. Okay, 5.5 Study Guide homework. Let's do number, what one's ugly? Let's do number 8. It's not a person, it's math. Even in the littlest, the people who love math the most know that there's some ugly things in math. I'm not saying people, saying problems. Negative 30 minus negative 52 equals A. Okay? Now with this one, what's one of the first things that I need to recognize? What should be going through your head when you see this right now? Brooke. The two negatives, and what was it about the negative? Show me right now. Yep. These two negatives are going to make a positive, so it's going to be like that. Okay?
It's 52.
Oh, thank you. Whoops, that's... Yeah, there we go. 52. Negative 30 plus 52. So I'm starting at negative 30. Am I going to be crossing the 0? Let's go back from 2 days ago. I'm going to subtract the smallest number from the biggest number and keep the sign of the big number with the biggest absolute value. So I'm going to look at it like these. I have 52 minus 30, which is what? 22. Okay, now I ask you, which one has a bigger absolute value back in this guy? Which one has a bigger absolute value? Negative 30 or 52? So, excuse me, is my answer going to be positive 22 or negative 22?
Positive.
You guys are very smart. Very, very smart. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to circle that because that is my answer, and that's what your work should look like, something like that. Your work should look like that, okay? That was what we did from yesterday, okay? And that was what was from yesterday's lesson, combining the two things. Then tomorrow we do the multiplication and division, which is easier. Yeah, that's probably the grossest one on there. So, yeah. And that's all she wrote. So I want you to do those 18 for homework tonight. Number 7 is just the... Evaluate, just to make sure that we have one of those. I have about literally 60 seconds. I'll do 14. Number 14, I have 10 minus m, where m is negative 1, so I have to substitute that in there. All you need to do is substitute in because m equals negative 1. Okay, then you just do that thing again. Very good. Yep, and your answer is going to be negative. Bye, guys. Have a great day. If you have questions, ask me on Edmodo.